Vasily Ivanovich Chapayev, 1887 to 1919. Vasily Ivanovich Chapayev was born on the 9th of February 1887 in Budyka, Kazan Governorate of the Russian Empire, into a poor peasant family. His humble origins shaped a determined young man who would later rise to prominence as both a soldier and commander. During World War I, Chapayev served as a non-commissioned officer, where his bravery earned him the Cross of St. George 3 times. His reputation for courage and leadership made him a natural choice when, in 1917, he joined the Bolsheviks and was elected commander of the 138th Infantry Regiment. Soon after, he led larger units, including the renowned 25th Rifle Division, which became one of the most active forces of the early Soviet Red Army. His life ended tragically on the 5th of September 1919 in Ural Oblast, during an ambush by White Army troops, and his death became surrounded by myth and legend. Mikhail Nikolayevich Tukhachevsky, 1893 to 1937. Mikhail Nikolayevich Tukhachevsky, born on the 16th of February 1893 in Alexandrovskoye, Smolensk Governorate, came from an impoverished noble family, yet rose to become one of the most innovative military minds of his generation. After graduating from military school in 1914, he entered World War I as a young officer and displayed boldness both in combat and during his repeated escape attempts from German captivity. Returning to Russia in 1917, he joined the Bolsheviks and quickly advanced through the Red Army ranks. In the Russian Civil War, he commanded the Fifth Army against Kolchak in Siberia and later crushed opposition in the Crimea and Tambov. His most ambitious campaign came during the Polish-Soviet War of 1920, where his advance toward Warsaw ended in dramatic defeat. Known as the Red Napoleon, Tukhachevsky became a marshal of the Soviet Union in 1935, but fell victim to Stalin's purges and was executed in Moscow on the 12th of June, 1937. Aleksey Alekseyevich Brusilov, 1853 to 1926. Aleksey Alekseyevich Brusilov, born on 31st August 1853 in Tiflis, distinguished himself as one of Russia's most capable generals of World War I. Educated in the Imperial Corps of Pages, he began his career as a cavalry officer in the Caucasus and earned early renown during the Russo-Turkish War of 1877–78. By 1914, as commander of the Russian Eighth Army, he played a decisive role in Galicia, but his greatest achievement came 2 years later. In June 1916, Brusilov launched a daring offensive against Austria-Hungary, remembered as the Brusilov Breakthrough. Within weeks, his forces captured hundreds of thousands of prisoners and forced Germany to divert troops from Verdun, shifting the balance of the wider war. Although the offensive did not yield lasting success in the east, it secured his place in military history. Brusilov died in Moscow on the 17th of March, 1926. Konstantin Konstantinovich Rokossovsky, 1896 to 1968. Konstantin Konstantinovich Rokossovsky was born on the 9th of December, 1896, either in Warsaw or Wielkie Luki, into a family of Polish nobility with Russian roots. Orphaned young, he worked as a stonemason before enlisting in the Imperial Russian Army during World War I. Serving with distinction in the cavalry, he was twice wounded and decorated with the Cross of St. George. In 1917, he joined the Bolsheviks and soon became a rising commander in the Red Army, gaining recognition in the Russian Civil War. His career nearly ended during Stalin's Great Purge, when he was imprisoned and tortured, but he was released in 1940. During World War II, Rokossovsky commanded at Moscow, Stalingrad, Kursk, and in Operation Bagration, proving himself one of the most brilliant Soviet strategists. After 1945, he served both the USSR and Poland as Marshal and Defense Minister. Rokossovsky died in Moscow on the 3rd of August, 1968. Kozma Kryuchkov, 1890 to 1919. Kozma Kryuchkov, born in 1890 in the Don Cossack region, became the first Russian soldier to receive the St. George Cross during World War I. Having joined the 3rd Don Cossack Regiment in 1911, he quickly proved himself a bold and resourceful cavalryman. On 12th of August 1914, only days after the war began, Kryuchkov led a patrol of 4 Cossacks that clashed with a German unit of more than 20 men. In the ensuing hand-to-hand fight, he fought with remarkable ferocity, wielding captured weapons and sustaining 16 wounds while inflicting heavy losses on the enemy. His bravery was recognized by General Pavel Rennenkampf, who personally decorated him with the Cross of St. George, making Kryuchkov a celebrated symbol of Russian valor. Transformed into a popular hero by press and propaganda, he later fought in the Civil War with the White Army, before being killed in battle on the 18th of August, 1919. Mikhail Vasilyevich Alekseyev, 1857 to 1918. Mikhail Vasilyevich Alekseyev, born on the 15th of November 1857 in Vyazma, Smolensk Governorate, rose from modest origins to become one of the most influential Russian generals of World War I. After early service in the Russo-Turkish War, he advanced through the General Staff Academy, eventually earning command positions and recognition during the Russo-Japanese War. When World War I began, Alekseyev was appointed Chief of Staff of the Southwestern Front, where he directed the campaign in Galicia. In September 1915, Tsar Nicholas II made him Chief of Staff of Stavka, placing him in charge of all Russian military operations. Though committed to the Allied cause, he struggled against entrenched inefficiency and political intrigue. After the February Revolution, Alekseyev transmitted front commanders' appeals for Nicholas's abdication and briefly served the provisional government. Following the Bolshevik takeover, he co-founded the Volunteer Army against Soviet rule. Gravely ill, Alekseyev died of heart failure in Ekaterinodar on the 8th of October, 1918. Pavel Vladimirovich Argeyev, 1887 to 1922. Pavel Vladimirovich Argeyev was born on the 1st of March, 1887 in Yalta, Crimea. He began his military career in the Imperial Russian Army, rising to lieutenant colonel by 1912. At the outbreak of World War I, he resigned his Russian commission and joined the French Foreign Legion on the 12th of September, 1914, fighting in the infantry at the Battle of the Marne and earning the Croix de Guerre and Légion d'honneur. Wounded multiple times, he transferred to the French Air Force on the 30th of January 1916, training as a pilot. Later, he served with the Imperial Russian Air Service, scoring his first victories in January 1917. Returning to France in May 1918 amid the Russian Revolution, he flew with Escadrille SPA 124, ultimately achieving 15 credited victories. After the war, he became a test pilot but died in a crash on the 30th of October 1922 near Trutnov, Czechoslovakia. Argeyev remains celebrated as one of Russia's top World War I aces, known as the Eagle of Crimea. Pyotr Nikolayevich Nesterov, 1887 to 1914. Pyotr Nikolayevich Nesterov was born on 27 February 1887 in Nizhny Novgorod to a military family. He entered the Mikhailov Artillery Academy in 1904 and became a second lieutenant in the 9th East Siberian Artillery Brigade. In 1909, Nesterov began training in aviation, and by 11 October 1912, graduated from the St. Petersburg Aviation School, becoming a military pilot. On the 9th of September 1913, he became the first pilot to perform a loop in a Nieuport 4 monoplane over Syretsk Aerodrome near Kiev, despite initial disciplinary action. Nesterov also pioneered military aerobatics and improved Russian flight techniques. On the 8th of September 1914, during the Battle of Galicia, he executed the first aerial ramming attack, destroying an Austrian Albatros B-2, but dying from his injuries. His method, later called Taran, influenced Soviet pilots in World War II. Nesterov was buried in Kiev, and his legacy endures through the Nesterov Cup and the asteroid 3071 Nesterov, named in his honor. Rimma Mikhailovna Ivanova, 1894 to 1915. Rimma Mikhailovna Ivanova was born on 27th June 1894 in Stavropol. She graduated from the Olginskaya Women's Gymnasium in 1913 and worked as a school teacher in Petrovskoye. After the outbreak of World War I, she trained as a nurse and volunteered for the Russian army in January 1915. Ivanova was recognized for rescuing wounded soldiers, receiving the Cross of St. George 4th Class and 2 medals of St. George. On 22 September 1915, during a battle near Mokraya Dubrova in present-day Belarus, she led a company after its officers were killed, capturing enemy trenches but suffering fatal injuries. By decree of Nicholas II, she was posthumously awarded the Order of St. George 4th Class, the only woman in the Russian Empire to receive this honor. Ivanova was buried on the 24th of September 1915 in Stavropol, and her memory is preserved through streets and monuments in Stavropol and Mikhailovsk. Semyon Mikhailovich Budyonny, 1883 to 1973. Semyon Mikhailovich Budyonny was born on 25 April 1883 in the Don Cossack region of southern Russia. Drafted into the Imperial Russian Army in 1903, he served in cavalry units during the Russo-Japanese War and World War I, earning all 4 classes of the Order of St. George. After the February Revolution, Budyonny became a Bolshevik supporter and founded the Red Cavalry, playing a key role in the Russian Civil War and the Polish-Soviet War. Budyonny was a staunch cavalry advocate, often opposing mechanized warfare, and became one of the first 5 marshals of the Soviet Union in 1935. During World War II, he commanded Soviet forces on the Southwestern Front, but suffered defeats at Uman and Kiev, after which he was removed from frontline command. After the war, he focused on horse breeding and agricultural affairs, creating the Budyonny horse breed. He remained a prominent public figure until his death from a brain hemorrhage on the 26th of October, 1973, at age 90, and was buried with full military honors in the Kremlin Wall necropolis. Thanks for watching till the end. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really motivates me to keep creating more content.